So that kind of diet methods, specifically for kidney diseases, hypertension, diabetes, what kind of diet they need to use, that also we combine. So diet, yoga, acupressure, and any other alternative remedies which can be practiced in a self mode at home, okay, without depending on any external system. And then, of course, the spiritual tablets will be there. So this is the only 2-day workshop where we try to go in a holistic way, and more or less energy level, body level, mind level remedies we consider and combine. So there are certain advantages, whether you call it as marketing or spiritual or holistic. Those benefits automatically will be uh, there for the whole spiritual tablet foundation, because at the end of the day, initially we are doing counselings and workshops with people. Now we are training the doctors. So by inviting a lot of other alternate system people, so they will peep into spiritual tablets, and we also can take the greatest advantage of other alternate systems which are prevailing across globe. So wherever they have their own alternate therapy clinics or major hospitals, there itself we can incorporate spiritual tablets once they understand the beauty of working from the soul level. So that's why this I am very keen about this disease specific workshop, which gives a good glamour also for the whole spiritual tablet system. And the people who are having that specific disease, definitely they will join whenever we are going in a holistic approach. Yeah. So this is what we discussed till now. And these are, of course, the internal workshops. So coming to the other departments in academic part. So there is academic and administrative division in a gross way. So in the academic zone, workshops are there, counselings are there, new literature is there, research is there, and academic part of holistic and primary centers we are going to discuss. Among that, we discussed in detail about different types of workshops that we are supposed to do on regular basis. And now coming to the new literature. So what are the speeches that are available either by me or other directors and senior masters, and especially whenever we are calling some holistic professionals onto our platform, either in the research workshops or sessions during full moon. And most of our masters will give a lot of YouTube presentations. So all these audios, we need to convert them into a written language. And to that, to make it more strengthier, we need to pull some points from the research papers, and we have to add those additional points to that. Here, the additional point means it can be from the research papers, or it can be from uh, holy testimonials like Bhagavad Gita, Bible, Quran, or any spiritual masters' books from Western countries. Okay, quotes, slokas, and good pictures which can really give a print about the wisdom we are trying to give. They will set the context if we add a good picture. So all this background work has to done for that, to bring out that book in a best possible way. And the most important thing, spiritual experiences relevant to that theory we are giving. For example, if we are speaking about social problems, and apart from the theory, we need to add some miraculously cured social problems related to relationship or finances, and we have to add 4 or 5 experiences in the annexure. Okay, so um, this will give a practical application view for that particular book, and finally it will be reviewed by one of the senior person, as well as a common man, like who are going to read that book. So for those people also it will go. And we need to parallelly we need to work on the front and back covers, the internal pages. Okay, and especially in the next we try to give some of the organizational points, addresses, latest center details. Okay, and taking support from the general public, because the whole organization is going through voluntary donation basis, basic meditation method, and different services that we are providing. So if you check the 12 tablets book, which is available in Hindi, English, and Telugu now. English, it is PDF. We have not printed it. So there you will see clearly in the last, annex. You will find the project overview, the future scope, support page, and services page, addresses. Okay, all these things you will find, which are very very important for the whole project. In the pocket books, we concised it. We may not give that much elaborative in the pocket books, but at least the basic thing should be there in every pocket book. And then finally, uh, the book has to be converted into audiobook, first of all. Once the audiobook is made, if you want to do some smart job, it can be made as an audio visual book as well. Audio visual book means it's like we try to add some more uh, short video clips relevant to that context and speech that we are giving, message we are giving, and some pictures also, so that whenever they are watching, uh, the voiceover will be there, but the vision, uh, the visual impression is more important, because in a teaching methods, the audio visual aids will have a impact around 80%. That is a management information. So that's why the maximum we produce audiovisual books, the more we are near to the patient god intellect. And especially whenever we working on serious illness cases where patient gods are confined to the bed, they are not in a position to read a book or whatever we are giving, externally by audio, they may not appreciate because of that low energy. If we give the same tablet in audiovisual form, or in a short film also. So here I need to mention the short films as well. So these are all comes under audiovisual material, and of course we need to print the book as well, so that these books can be displayed in various stalls that we keep and libraries in a standard way, and people who want to buy, they can buy those books as well. So that's why the new literature department, there is a slight difference between new literature department and the material department. Material department is all about once the printing is done, then how to cater those printing materials and making available. Sometimes the stock may be over, so they have to always count the number of copies that are available with the organization, and again they have to go for reprinting. And according to the current administration, the reprinting will be divided in two levels: a state level and a zonal level. 12 tablets books can be printed in zonal level. There are certain common books which can be distributed at free of cost even. Those books will be printed in the zonal level. In due course of time, slowly we come up with those administrative structure. We are budding in that. And in the state level, rest of all the spiritual tablets will be monitored, printing in the state level. And apart from the materials, so in the material department we discuss. So here the new literature is only preparing a new document. It can be a brochure, it can be like a pamphlet, what do you call, and a creative pamphlet with patient card experiences and the basics, pocket books, big books, okay, and even the YouTube videos of the PGs, okay. So here, model basic brochures on the project. So the model basic brochures, if you look back into the history of the spiritual tablets, initially to prepare a threefold brochure, with the title Dhyana Vaidyam. Almost it took around 4 months for me uh, to correct and recorrect again with Patrizi and some other doctors. Okay, to bring it in that shape, it took 4 months for me. And after that, we did another pamphlet related to chakras, Shakti Kendra, with the energy patterns and all. What exactly happens in spiritual tablet system? So that took around 6 months. So like that, there are around 3-4 brochures. The initial plan was to make around 20 brochures actually. So somehow, because we picked these pocket books, so I felt like instead of giving in bullet points, better the pocket book. So later on, with those 3-4 brochures, we stopped making new brochures. See, the brochures will act as a beautiful medium to give in a nutshell. For example, if you take Dhyana Arogya Kendram, Spiritual Tablets Health Center, what exactly it means? Because it is new to the people. Suppose if you say hospital, everybody knows there will be a casualty, IP, OP, operation theater, everything they will understand because people are used to it. But whenever you say a spiritual tablets healthcare center, or in Telugu it is called Dhyana Arogya Kendra, Hindi and Telugu, meditation health center. So they don't know what exactly it contains. So there we have to give in detail what are all the chambers that they present, how it will work, and what are all the services provided. So this is a very creative pamphlet. People who want to create a new literature, they can come forward and they can, with a brief bullet points and a crisp explanation with beautiful pictures, they can make a center brochure. So these brochures can be kept in kiosk or in stalls so that as and when people come forward with alternate therapies and more interest, then we can give this brochure. And once they go through it, then they will automatically they create an impression to open such a center in their vicinity, in their locality. So that's why, and again, we are calling spiritual doctors, spiritual type of doctors. So what they do, what they learn, and what they do exactly, how the people are benefited with the spiritual doctors. If you say MBBS doctor, homeopathy doctor, allopathy doctor, everybody knows because people are used to that kind of training and treatment. Coming to the spiritual doctors, nobody knows. So, so making a brochure on spiritual doctor itself is a very great creative job. So there are 18 responsibilities for a spiritual doctor that we framed earlier. Dhyana Arogya Nishnatini Vidilu, the duties and responsibilities of a spiritual doctor. So those things and what they learn, what are the services they provide, everything can be kept in a threefold brochure. So that's why these kind of creative brochures, if we like chakras is a very common subject. 7 types of experience is a common subject. So these things, if you put into a brochure, then uh, just in 3 to 4 minutes, they can grab a settled content, and they'll get a gross idea what exactly we are trying to give to them. So these kind of model brochures about the whole project and digital visiting cards. Similarly, the administrative structure of the whole project also can be given different departments that contain. For the administrative people, it is very much useful. Similarly, digital visiting cards for all the people who are completing the L1, they must have their own digital visiting card, at least the digital one. If you print it physically, that is good. During travel, wherever you are in the airport, bus stand, railway station, wherever people meet you for fraction of minutes, if you have any inclination towards them, immediately you can drop a card. Okay. So, and as and when people are asking your number, instead of just telling the phone number, if you send a digital visiting card by WhatsApp or social media, then it contains what are your qualifications, your phone number, email ID, the website address, what are the activities that you are doing, like a counselor or workshop trainer. That gives a complete information. So this is how you can build your face presentation. Whenever you are dealing with problems with the face, the visiting card is the first and foremost one to discuss. In L2, you will understand those subtle illnesses and all. So the digital visiting card is a must, and I hope by the end of these 6 weeks, you will identify yourself as a counselor or a workshop trainer or social media promoter for spiritual tablets. Whatever the role you take, that you have to keep as your function aspect, and you have to make your own, card with that logo. And then invitations. So different kind of invitations we prepare for different programs. Like we discussed, different workshops are there, counseling, all the services that we are giving through spiritual tablets must have an invitation, including the virtual office that we are sitting today. That also has got its own invitation. Okay. And then testimonial flyers. So the flyers are like pure theory flyers, and some are like testimonial flyers where whenever we get a successful case study, and if that page is open to general public to share his journey, then in detail we give the whole history, and below that we give the, in a nutshell, we give different services of spiritual tablet. So after going through that history, once they identify themselves, and if they want to take the services, immediately they will contact spiritual tablets. So that's why these testimonial flyers give a very good importance, and this can be done in audio visual mode also. A patient god can share their experience in a crisp way in 2 to 3 minutes, followed by we have to keep different services phone numbers of the spiritual tablets. So this already we are preparing a lot, and if you go to YouTube, you will find a lot of YouTube testimony videos. And then newsletter. So earlier, uh, when I'm in India, especially in Andhra Pradesh, we used to print this newsletter as a, even physically we used to print that bi-monthly newsletters on the title spiritual tablets, which almost always contains, even now in the website also you can find some newsletters in English language, where a doctor experience, PG experience, 1 or 2 spiritual tablets, and various programs that we did in that particular 2 months period, and upcoming events, all the things we used to keep, and we maintained the newsletter. Now, Dr. Odia taking care of this newsletter job. People who are interested in working about this newsletter, they can support her. And we need to bring these newsletters in all possible languages. Okay. And area-wide, these newsletters will differ. The main core content may be the same, like the experiences under the spiritual tablet. But regarding the programs, upcoming programs and past program section, you can change according to your country and state where you are working. And then you can print this newsletter on a regular basis, once in 2 months or 3 months, so that people can understand how much work we are doing. And in one way, administratively, it will help to develop the NGO credibility also, in taking support from other major foundations and the government. And then patient got experience videos, just now I told you, and master sessions videos in all languages. So whatever the sessions you are conducting, every session has got its own taste, even though there are some standard sessions, but every session is very important, because whenever people are completely absorbed in the speech, they will pick different kinds of examples. So that's why there is no expenditure for us to keep a number of videos in YouTube. So that's why simply we can dump all the different versions of 12 tablets, traffic signals told by different masters. We need to just go through that video, and everything is good. There is no out of the line content. Then immediately, if at all small glitches are there, we can edit, and even we can add some more beautiful pictures here and there, so that the video may not be very monotonous. Viewers can have good interest in watching it, and then those videos has to be uploaded in YouTube. And then especially for the workshop trainers, if they upload lot of videos, especially the general public content, we may not upload each and every content in YouTube, but the general public content related topics, whichever we have finalized around that 35 to 40 concepts, those videos, if everyone keep in YouTube, that automatically increase their credibility. And people, when they watch those videos, if they like those videos, automatically they will try to arrange sessions with that particular workshop trainer. And book club speeches audio visual. So we are referring around 20 to 25 books like Melarapa story and Who Moved My Cheese, 1 Minute Manager, Jonathan Siegel, Illusions, You Forever. So there are around 20 25 books we always advise. So on these books, whomsoever is good in English language, like Arunashri madam, I can see she is very beautiful. If she do some hard work, definitely she can come up with a lot of book clubs, and which can be recorded, and they can be kept in our YouTube uh, channel, so that as and when we are conducting the L1 and L2, if we refer that book, immediately our masters and our doctors can assess those videos, and in a nutshell, they try to grab the information that is there in those books. Because reading a book for 250 to 300 pages, and that too in English language, is not a joke. It is very tough. And especially the people, other than English, there are so many languages are there, especially the Indian languages. So that's why if we do some groundwork to give an overview on these spiritual books which we are referring, that itself is a great job in new literature department. And finally, I wrote here the short films and audiobooks for all the book clubs that we are conducting, and then the spiritual tablet books. So this is all about the new literature. So apart from the major components like workshop department and counseling department, every academic spiritual tablets professional should choose some areas of this literature department, because this is a kind of ongoing study. This will reduce our spiritual laziness, because to create a creative literature, you need to refer a lot, because you are trying to make a permanent document which can be renewed in due course of time. But whenever you are creating first time, you need to refer a lot, and again it will go for revisions. And exclusively literature job is like a next level to the speech. 4 levels of perfection: speech, writing, deed, and feeling. This you will learn in level 2. In the Conversation with God book, 3 volumes, this tablet is grabbed from that book. So this speech, initially in speech, you can do a lot more things. But if you take the literature job, you are working at a writing level. So that is some more great, we can say, the next level perfection, I can see. It's a vertical ascension. Any knee joint pains means vertical ascension is required here to climb the steps. It is painful. So whenever you have to ascend vertically, there, this vertical ascension means from speech to writing, writing to deed. Deed means crossing likes and dislikes. And then feeling means, of course, working like a Buddha for meditation. It's like working with complete, oneness with that particular job. So that's why some work, at least a brochure, even though you complete it by 6 months time, no problem. There is no hurry. But you have to take some or the other. Some people can support the newsletter by grabbing all the information, the sessions that are happening and the upcoming sessions. Collecting those information is not a big deal, and put it in proper way, and then you can send that news to newsletter department. So like that, every spiritual tablets academic, especially the academic people, should take something or other this literature job. And especially every day morning, the as soon as you wake up, that is always the best time to sit for literature job. This is my experience. Today morning also, just in half an hour before coming, that's why my breakfast is skipped. Without correcting few papers, I don't want to go for the breakfast. There is only half an hour time. I woke up around 5 and then doing a lot more things. And then finally, I corrected the transport vehicles 4 pages, that pocket book. And then I so because I woke up very early, slept at 1:30, I sit meditation with you to cover up my sleep. If I sit the 10-15 minutes meditation sincerely, that will automatically take away my that lazy behavior. And especially for the writing jobs, that early morning is very, very important. Or as and when you wake up from the afternoon sleep also, the moment you woke up, first you need to do is writing jobs and any learning activities you have to take up, because that is the area where you trying to reduce your ego, reduce your laziness. It needs a lot of energy. In the day-to-day life, with a beta frequency, you may not do the writing jobs and the learning skills. That's why always immediately after meditation or immediately after sleep, the first and foremost thing is writing job you have to take up. And never expect to write a complete 10 pages on a single day. Brick by brick. Always writing jobs happen only a single paragraph. If you write for the day, it is really great. Every spiritual tablet professional should bring their experiences book by the end of their life. If you have a 5 years of travel with meditation, means you are most eligible to bring a book of your own experiences and your journey. What best you learn from your guru, what you have learned, how you are before your meditation, after meditation. All these things, if you put it into chapters, 5 years of meditation journey is just phenomenal. At least you may be able to bring your own book, which nobody else can produce. Nobody else can produce. So that's why these writing jobs, it is a must for every academic professional, especially. Even the admin professionals also will have their own administrative literature. But here, it is very important, because this is what will be carried forward to the next generations. Something you put in print is for ages. Today, I read a beautiful thing, even though it is a material information. How great it was, you just think. Today, we are seeing the Babri Masjid, Ram Janmabhoomi, uh, you know, uh, that argument is completed and it is solved. You know how it is solved? If you go to the details in depth, even I had a doubt how they solved, what they invented. In that it was written, I don't know the years, it may be some 300 years or 200 years ago. Someone put a stone writing that this place belongs to some kind of Rama dynasty thing. If anybody removes the stone, he will be fined with 3,000 rupees and some imprisonment. So he put it on a stone in writing, identifying that place related to this Rama dynasty or whatever, basically. Because it is a written information, it was not lost. So that is the main key point. From there, the rest of all the informations were built. And finally, today, that major problem is sorted out. We don't bother whether they will take Ram or Muslim or whatever. Everything is equal for us. Ultimately, the struggle has came to an end. That is important. Crores and crores of rupees of money they spent to protect that place, and lot of agony, pain. Everything was came to an end by the history, by the information. So that's why whatever we are verbally presenting, if we put it into words, if we give it to the next generations, that is more than sufficient for them to, you know, it saves a lot of time, and it is a reconfirmation for them. They can read and they can become like that, and based on that they can do some more creative jobs. So that's why working in writing level is very, very important, and in one way it is reduces our ego as well as our laziness. And coming to the research department, more or less this also comes under writing job, but it is a junctional mixed one. So here we are trying to do from the research department the random control trials, case studies, publishing research articles in journals, collecting wisdom healing research articles especially, and meta-analysis. Meta-analysis means we take around different papers on wisdom healing of different organizations, and we try to analyze, and finally we pull out some conclusions out of it to answer our research questions. And collecting database for all the spiritual researchers. So whenever we are conducting, someone is conducting a research, they may go for a mixed method study where a qualitative interview will be conducted or a quantitative paper has to be circulated, and we have to collect data from the field. So there at least you can support to collect the data from the participants, and you can conduct the interviews based on the questionnaire they give. Okay. So support for the research from service foundations. This is like whenever we are calling for a particular research, that research may need some amount of money. So you can make a proposal. This is the kind of research we want to do. This costs this much amount. And finally, with this research result, this benefit is going to happen to the general public and for the organization, which is working for the general public benefit. So if you create that proposal, that proposal is useful to grab some funds for the smooth go. And wherever we have the holistic hospitals, like in Shadnagar, Hyderabad, we have our own a holistic center. In the hospital, we opened a 2-floor spiritual tablet administration admission center, where we are keeping patient PGs with serious illness for 40 days, 3 months, and definitely there will be some amount of relief for them. So there we can do in-house, um, you know, case studies or researches, random trials, etc. So which gives a more value. Whenever you are doing a research in field, uh, of course it is considered, but whenever you are doing it in a hospital with all the monitoring and all, with a regular vital recordings and then investigation support, so that really gives a more credible value. So that's why these are all the different uh, research plans we have in the research department. I just gave you a single line. I didn't explain you much because that we understand much better in those areas, and people who already have who have some experience with research, those masters have to opt this department. At least you can support the people in funding and in collecting the data, and promoting. You can send these papers to the journals, so those correspondence also at least you can do if you are good with English and correspondence. So that will automatically increase the benefit of this research department. And finally, today the whole spiritual tablet research foundation reached almost 95% of its perfection. It is just waiting to come onto the surface into limelight. Only 5%, that is nothing but the research department. Without having proper documentation, we did thousands of cases so far. We got miraculous results. But very few were professionally recorded. Okay. So to convince the foundations which come forward to support us in a big way, the support can be any, it can be crores of millions of rupees of money, or they may allow us to open our primary and holistic health centers in that foundation's branches. Every foundation will have branches across the globe. If you take Bairraja Foundation, which works for water and sanity, it has got 300 branches in South India. Suppose if that Bairraja Foundation accepts spiritual tablets, we can open overnight, we can open 50 or 100 centers, physical centers across South India. Because already they have their own infrastructure in two-bedroom houses. If they provide a small place in the hall, that is more than sufficient for us to run our show. And those centers are famous where every day a lot of people will come and go to take the services. So like that, there are so many service foundations which have their own franchisee units. So if one organization understand and accept our services, then immediately we can get place to keep our infrastructure to run a center. So that's why to reach these service foundations, they need some information on black and white. They need research information. Without that, simply, see, to convince a patient God, another patient got testimonially sufficient. Okay. But to convince professionals, we need some research data. So that's why now we are seriously working with this research department and trying to bring out some professional case studies and some random control trials also we are doing. Once this research data is completed, then with that, we can approach governments, health departments, service foundations, and we can get a great support. So most of the times I feel like Spiritual Tablet Foundation is not so far from major funding from any service foundation. Already so many masters told me different types of experiences. Once when I am in one national congress in Malaysia, one of the senior masters, she's a third master actually, she gets a lot of spiritual experiences in beforehand. She told um, the Bill Gates Foundation accepted to establish some 300 or 400 centers across globe, holistic centers especially, to serve the humanity with a spiritual tablet wisdom. So that kind of experiences I listened plenty. So that's why I never feel like hurry. Nature has got its own, milestones, and successfully have completed till today. Uh, the last final one is this research department. So actually speaking, whomsoever the professionals that are there in spiritual tablets, if they really want to help the organization, the best thing they can do is supporting the research department, whatever the way it may be, by supplying the cases, producing the case studies, doing some research, collecting data, publishing the information that we already produced into journals. So if they do, even though we prepare a case study, it has to be published in a journal. Then only it gains the real value. Without publicizing in a journal, the case study which we have produced may not have that much credibility, because every journal has got its own standards. If we produce a case study according to the standards of that particular journal, then only they will publish. Once it is published means, then rest of all the medical world, whatever the system is, the alternative or conventional, they will believe it. They will start peeping into it. What are these spiritual tablets? How they are working? So that is how we can uh, bring this spiritual tablet foundation into limelight. So I wish he will try to understand the value of research department and try to work the best possible way. And I'm happy that Manideep has already chosen the research department and he is working with the research department team. Yeah. And just to give a brief idea, holistic centers academic information. Holistic center means where, just now I told, where we are trying to take the help of all other systems, other medical systems, and in a pyramid environment, meditation, positive atmosphere, nature will be there, pyramid will be there, master's presence. With all these things, we try to keep the patient God for 40 days or 3 months based on the disease seriousness. So maybe in this orientation period, we try to bring 1 or 2 patient gods that are staying in our holistic center since 40 days and 3 months like that. Once you go through that illness details and what they're doing, how they are doing, really you can understand how greatly these holistic centers are supporting the PGs. And I request Manasa Madam to bring a patient god by name Ashok from Revalapalam, Vishakhapatnam Center, probably in the next session in the first 15 minutes. I think he can share in English language. He's a software engineer by profession and explain the thing. If he is okay to come forward in front of everyone. Of course, this is confidential. We don't publish this news in YouTube. These recordings will be private anyway. So you just ask him and try to bring him. Yeah. And then, so here in the holistic centers, the spiritual counselor or a workshop trainer is supposed to maintain the academic standards like daily and weekly follow-ups of the PGs that are there. So it can be done in person or online. If you are very near to that holistic center, of course, you can go daily or once weekly or twice weekly. Or if by online, daily you can talk to the PGs who are there in that center. If that case is more concerned to you, if you have more command on that particular illness, you can talk to those patient guards even though they are in a holistic center in another country. Okay, if they are into your own language, through your language, you can talk to them for one-on-one counseling in Zoom breakout rooms every day if it is required. And parallelly, data maintenance of serious illness cases. So whatever the cases that are coming, every day they will get different types of experiences and different realizations. And in between, they will give their short testimonials. And we record some videos of those PGs, how greatly they are developing day by day, improving their symptoms. So these things we have to make a record and we have to keep it in our data so that as and when similar cases are coming to the center, we can show these videos and recordings and case studies so that they will be motivated in a great way and they will try to learn in a similar fashion. So this elaborate library means both the 1 in 1 lakh successful cases of our spiritual doctors, okay, and the PGs, everything we have to maintain in different languages, in writing mode, audio visual mode, all possible ways we have to maintain. So that is what the elaborate library, I mean. So if you strengthen the library in the holistic center, the PG who is coming there for 40 days or 3 months, the soul choose that 40 days environment in a holistic center only to grab that wisdom that is there in this elaborate library. To attract different souls to the holistic center, it is not the food that you are giving or the pyramid. It is the wisdom, the practical wisdom that we are going to keep in that elaborate library is the real heart of the holistic center. Again and again, I am telling in the speeches, frankly speaking, nobody is seriously working on it. Initially, I used to maintain all these things when I am running my holistic center in my hospital. I am successful as a part of my research. Now this is your turn. You have to be serious with it. Establishing a holistic center with 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, the pyramid and site, it's all just a physical body. But the real soul is that elaborate library with complete content, complete history. If you take a 1 in 1 lakh case like ulcerative colitis, or cancer, or Crohn's disease, or a severe joint pains, autoimmune disorder, of course, we did a lot of cases. If you give mic to them, they will speak for 10 days. That many experiences they will have. Every day is an experience for them. So we have to record like episodes, 20 episodes, 30 episodes, 1 hour episodes. If you record, if you keep those things in the holistic center library, then the PGs who are coming, automatically the soul will be attracted to listen to that wisdom. And when they are staying, apart from the food and energy, we have to give these wisdom experiences to them. So that is what the real job an academician can do in holistic centers. And of course, staying in holistic centers during full moon days, especially because that is the time where we promote most of the PGs to stay in holistic centers. So at least 3 days or 5 days, you can go and stay in holistic center so that you can be helpful in giving one-on-one counseling and conducting group meditations, and supporting the PGs who are all there in that center. And similarly, the primary centers maintaining proper educative materials like brochures, case sheet materials, all the materials that are required to maintain the primary center, starting from the entrance board, everything you have to maintain, and conducting weekly sessions. Okay, conducting daily meditation sessions and weekly sessions in the center. Okay, counselings, of course, once in a week or once in 15 days, and attending to VVIPs and influencers. Usually, whenever we open a center, sometimes some doctors or politicians or people who are used to do a lot of social service, they may visit the center. So whenever such kind of people are coming, we it's not like someone is big or small. It's all like how best we can, spread this wisdom. So if a doctor comes to the center and if he understands well, he can refer to 100 patient gods. Similarly, the social service personals, uh, the influencers, if you attend to them and if you give them a proper demo about the whole center, then they can, promote the wisdom. Similarly, you can conduct the book clubs and new erection of primary centers. So wherever you identify there is a potential to erect a new center, immediately you have to inform it to the service managers working in mandal level and district level, and the new center in charge will start working on it, and they will erect the new center. So identifying potential to erect a new primary center is the job of an academician, because you are more acquainted with the PGs through counseling and workshops. So that's why by looking into their history, easily you can identify this person is capable of running a center. Through center, he can make himself much better by doing that service. Sometimes they may donate the infrastructure, they may not work, but they can donate a portion of their house or some material, or sometimes they can work as a primary center in charge, or the combination of both. So that's why to erect a new primary center, the academicians should identify the potential. So these retreats and hikings and trekkings are also there. So the spiritual tablet counselors only should identify the potential places to go on trekking or a nature living kind of ideas. Wherever we have those water bodies, like waterfalls. Waterfalls is source of energy. We consider the waterfall dream as source of energy. So wherever we have waterfalls, so to go there and spend some time having bath in it, Of course, all the safety precautions has to be made. So, but conducting the 2-day trekking or 3-day trekking into the forest and waterfall areas, natural areas, okay, mega pyramids. So, is the job of a academician, and time to time, once in 2 months or 3 months, we need to conduct such kind of tours and trekkings, so that during that period, a lot of advantages are there. In 12 tablets, you have already learned it. So that's why that also comes under this workshops department, even though it is a combination of Ananda Brahma and workshops department. So different phases they wrote here. Case studies, initial identifying a situation and a collection of data of the PG, reviewing it, validation pathway, come up with educated solutions based on the research. Okay. Other alternate pathways also we have to discuss in that the discussion part, and then finally we do give the conclusion how greatly they cured their illness with the wisdom bullets. So this is finance department, that is academic information. Okay, admin information. So with this we conclude uh, the first session syllabus. Okay, somehow it is stretched to 2 sessions, the workshop department and other academic things we discussed. So in the next session, we are going to discuss about the spiritual counseling and rest of the admin departments. Okay. Yeah. Any questions on this? Whatever we discussed so far? Yes, Yatish.
Yes, sir. I have only one question. Like, while we are doing like a practitioner or counseling or anything, we should have some license, right? License or
Yeah.
so. What about license or ID card, something like that?
Yeah. See, in fact, so many times we try to create that ID number. A software is developed and somehow it was not proceeded further. Maybe this time, I think once because we are trying to come up with the administrative structure. So probably in few months, we are going to complete that ID number generation for all the people who are, going through this L1 course, especially. Below that, we may give only participation certificate for 3-day workshops and 2-day workshops, etc. But completing L1, they are bound to receive a certificate with a barcode also, which you take automatically to the organization database, and ID card with a number we are supposed to give. As of now, we are giving only plain certificate, but so very soon we are going to introduce that barcode as well as the ID number. And with that, they will get an ID card. But for the practical purposes, due to the legal reasons, as of now, all the certification number, everything from India. Okay. So coming to Europe, UK, other countries, they have their own country rules and regulations. So it is very clear that this is not useful officially in other countries as of now, legally. So that's why you're all considered as part of Indian team by online, and whomsoever are registering, they are registering with through the Indian website and the app that is operating through India. And we are going through the terms and conditions where they are uh, abide the laws of India. Okay, it is registered as an Indian company, and through that we are trying to promote the wisdom and meditation at free of cost with the trained counselors. So all those things we were already included in the terms and conditions. So that's why it's individual choice. They can join in any Indian organization by online, and they can get certificate with that They can give counseling or workshop addressing audience as if the whole platform is doing from India by online. So this is how, as of now, of course, this is something like a on-screen and behind-screen spiritual tablet. So some things are behind the screen because we have not come up with research data, and we have not convinced some governments completely. Once it is legalized, maybe some countries are completely open to these kind of trainings. So sooner or later, we create a complete. Already there is a 40-page document. What exactly we are doing, because I applied for some service foundations support. So during that period, I created the whole document for the spiritual tablet. So that can be given to governments as well as service foundations, and then if they consider it, then definitely we are going to get a very good support from the government as well, especially in UK. Recently, I came to know that one sound healer who practiced for 10 years in Hong Kong, because of unhealthy situations, he came back to India. He is an Indian, basically, North Indian. And being a sound healer, um, with some Veda mantras and, Upanishad words and all, he do some sound healing, and he will treat the illness actually, and he will charge for it. So when he approached UK government, what they did is they have gone through his profile, and they asked him to treat some illnesses. Madam, you can stop the recording, please. So they gave some cases to you know treat the illness. So almost for 2 years he worked remotely, and he treated those cases, and he is successful in treating some illnesses with yes, madam, you can leave, no problem. So after treating those illnesses with the sound healing, then UK government came forward, and they gave a license to him to practice here. So with that visa he came, and currently in Manchester he is practicing sound healing, and the government accepted it. A lot of people are going, and for a session he will charge something, and government people are paying. So my strong wish is that one day the insurance company will accept this spiritual tablet, and it will insist every hospital to have the spiritual tablet counselor in place. Without that, they may not get insurance. So that is my target. No doubt we are going to achieve that state. Then, even though in Western countries the Reiki pranic healing is very prevalent, people know. Just because the insurance company is not paying for the sessions, people are not opting it, because they don't want to pay 20 pounds or 30 pounds per session for Reiki and pranic healing, even though they know they are helpful. So unless and until we cannot, even the government, we have to convince the insurance companies first to accept this as a system, and they have to realize that this will reduce the cost of the insurance. Automatically the diseases will become less, and people adopt the plant-based diet and meditation and wisdom healing. Then there is no burden for the insurance company. That is the junction where our administrative department should work. So that much vision we have, but as of now, it's all happening through India, through Spiritual Tablet Research Foundation. So all the platforms, online certification services, everything, you have to ensure that the email IDs, website address, everything has to be routed through India Spiritual Tablet. Then you are always safe. Yeah. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you so much.
So this Deepika are from Canada and Shivani Goyal.
From UK